Try it right now. Reach back as far as you can. Find your very first memory. The earliest one, the oldest thing in your head. Got it? Now here's the strange part. Whatever you just found, it almost certainly isn't fully real. And whatever came before it is just gone. You were there. You were alive. You were learning faster than you ever will again. You learned to see, to walk, to understand words, to love the people who held you, and you remember none of it. There's a wall in your mind. It sits at about age 3. Everything behind it has vanished. We even have a name for it, infantile amnesia. Every human on Earth has it, and for over 100 years, nobody could explain why, but we're finally figuring it out. And the answer is so much stranger than you were just too little. Let's get into it. Start with how strange this really is, because your first years weren't empty. They were the opposite. They were the most important years of your entire life. In those years, you learned your native language from nothing. You went from helpless to walking. You figured out faces, danger, trust, love. Your brain was on fire. Nothing you do as an adult comes close, and you can't remember a second of it. That's the part that should bother you. We forget the slow, boring, repetitive parts of adult life fine, but this was the richest, fastest, most formative chapter you will ever live, and it's blank. A psychologist named Patricia Bauer measured just how fragile early memory is. A 6-month-old can hold on to something for about a day, a 9-month-old about a month, 2-year-old around a year. The memory gets stickier as you grow, but the early stuff slides right off. Sigmund Freud noticed all this over a century ago. He's the one who named it. He thought we were burying the memories on purpose. He was wrong. But the question he asked never went away. Where do those years go? And here's the thing. It was never one answer. There are layers, and each one is stranger than the last. Start with the hardware. When you were born, your brain was about a quarter of the size it is now. By age 2, it was 3/4 of the way there. Sit with that. In a couple of years, your brain nearly built itself. Billions of new cells, trillions of new connections, wiring itself at a speed it will never reach again. And there's a problem with storing memories inside a machine that's rebuilding itself this fast. There's a region in your brain called the hippocampus. It's where your life gets recorded. The events, the moments, this happened to me. In a baby, it isn't finished. It doesn't reach real maturity until somewhere around 3 to 5 years old, right around the age the wall appears. But being unfinished isn't the whole story, because here's where it gets genuinely strange. In a baby's brain, new neurons are being born at an explosive rate. Scientists call it neurogenesis, and these new neurons don't arrive in empty space. They push into circuits that already exist, circuits that might be holding a memory, and every time a new neuron muscles in, it can scramble the wiring of whatever was stored there. 2 scientists, Paul Franklin and Sheena Jocelyn, tested this in the most direct way you can imagine. They taught young mice to fear a specific room. Normal young mice forget that fear fast, baby amnesia, in a mouse. Then the researchers slowed down the neuron flood in some of them, and those mice remembered. The fear stayed. Then they ran it in reverse. They cranked neuron production back up in adult mice that normally remember just fine, and those adults started forgetting. Read that again. They could turn forgetting on and off just by changing how fast new neurons were being born. So one big reason your baby memories are gone? Your own brain wrote over them, not by accident, as a side effect of growing. Now the part that turns this whole thing upside down. For 100 years, everyone assumed the memories were never really saved, that a baby's brain just couldn't record. Case closed. In 2025, scientists at Yale decided to actually check. They did something that sounds impossible. They put awake babies inside a brain scanner and watched their brains in real time while the babies tried to remember things. And the babies' brains lit up. The hippocampus, the memory recorder, was working. Babies as young as 1-year-old were forming real memories, encoding them, saving them, so the memories were made. They were in there, which means infantile amnesia might not be a storage problem at all. It might be a retrieval problem. The file got written, you just can't open it anymore. And the lead scientist said something that stops you cold. His team is now exploring a possibility he called almost science fiction, that these memories might still exist, somewhere in your adult brain. Locked, intact, unreachable. The whole of your earliest life sealed behind a door you lost the key to. So why does the door close around age 3? Part of the answer is who you were before it. Because to file a memory as your memory, you need a you to file it under. A sense of self. An I that things happen to. And that self doesn't exist at birth. It gets built. Right around the time your memories start to stick. Age 2, age 3. Something else is happening. You're learning language. You're learning your own name. You're starting to understand that you are a person, separate from everyone else, moving through time. The memories begin to hold the moment you become someone to hold them. It's not a coincidence that your life story starts right when you learn the word I. So no, you can't remember being a baby. None of us can. But it was never that nothing happened. It's that everything happened. Too fast. In a brain rebuilding itself. Before there was a you to keep it. Somewhere in your first years, someone held you in the dark and you felt safe for the very first time. You heard your name and slowly understood it was yours. You took a step. You fell. You tried again. You don't remember any of it, but it isn't gone. It became you. Every one of those lost days is still in there in the shape of who you turned out to be. The first chapter of your life is the one you'll never get to read, but you're still living inside everything it wrote.